Hello, welcome. This is Trevor Cutmore. I hope you enjoyed my videos this week, and today we're going to talk about success. What is success? Why do some people get it, and why don't others achieve it? I hope you enjoy it. So straight in, success. Why do some people have it and some people don't? It's the age-old question. You know, when I went to university, we had to look at psychology, and we looked at nature and nurture, the environment, and really the way that we're made. And does that make such a difference, or does it not? Well, the interesting thing is, it's really down to us. It really is. And I work with a lot of people. I actually have had conversations this week with people who have been chatting to me about business and where they want to go. And just listening to their language, about their limitations in their language, tells me so much about where they're going and what they will achieve or will not achieve. And it is quite shocking. And you know, I have a story. I'm actually doing a series of interviews. I've actually got one in the can now with a person a bit controversial. I'm not going to say just yet because it's all done. It's in the can. It's all going to be checked by their solicitors, and it's going to come out over about 5 or 6 weeks. I'm also doing another interview with someone who was very famous back in the 80s. They changed my life forever. Big thing in the mindset, absolutely transformed it. We're just trying to get a few more people together, but that's really exciting. I'm really excited about that. That will be another series of videos with that person, and that's massive. That's where my mindset changed into something which I thought was unbelievable, that I could never do or achieve what I have done, and continue to stretch and go forward. The things which are said over us, especially as children, have such a powerful effect on us, such as, you can't do that, money doesn't grow on trees. Many of us heard that, especially of the older generation. Now, I'm not saying that money grows on trees. It doesn't. But the thing is, to have a negative mindset about you mustn't spend because money is not easy to get, and money isn't easy to get, but what happens, it stops people from making investments, and so they now feel that they are frozen and they can't go forward. I've had many joint venture partners that come to me and say, look, I've got some funds. When it's time to go forward, sometimes they just hold back. I had one lady. Historically, she had several hundred thousands of pounds and some more in reserve. For a period of time I showed about 6 or 7 opportunities, great opportunities. At least 4 were picked up by the people that I knew, and 3 got away from us. But each of those opportunities was absolutely fantastic, and yet that person with those funds decided against it and said, no, I'm too risk averse and everything. The projects turned out phenomenally well, really, really well. But it's interesting, why does one person go and the other person doesn't? Although we see everything on the paper. Well, look, the problem is our mind. There's no doubt about it. The mind is either something that's going to be for us and helps us succeed, or it's going to block us. And the people around us, and if we come back to nurture and nature, the people that we have around us is very important. So there's some philosophy there that says we are the sum of the 5 people that we spend time with. So if you're spending time with people who are saying, well, no one's going to achieve that, you'll never achieve that, who do you think you are, Bill Gates, who do you think you are, so and so, so and so, then the chances are you're never actually going to stretch out. If you are spending time with people who are of a entrepreneurial mind and said, listen, you should try that because I know you'll be brilliant at that. I want to take you to a person which many of you probably never heard of, but I want to tell you a little bit about his story. Now, you know that I love my golf, and this is about a young guy who had huge problems through their lives. Because you might be sitting there watching this video and said, Trevor, but you don't understand my situation. You haven't got the same as I've got. And to be honest, you don't know what I've come through. But, you know, let's take it, not my life now. You're going to find out more when we have these series of interviews coming up, which will be in the next month or 2. But This person, his name was Ben Hogan. He was one of the great golfers. He was born in Dublin at the turn of the 19th century, about 1914, something like that. At 9 years old, he moved over to America with his family. And at 9 years old, his father committed suicide. So as a 9-year-old child, he had no father. His father's profession was a blacksmith, and up until 9, from very early age, he was working in this blacksmith, working with metal and having to do things. But when his father committed suicide, he found out that caddies were being paid 65 cents a day to caddy for a round of golf, but it was 7 miles away. So he walked 7 miles there, caddied, and 7 miles home, so he could take money to help his family live. When he was older, 10 years later, he tried to break in to golf because some of his success was put down because he had a great understanding about metals, being a blacksmith, and he created some incredible irons and clubs and everything at that time. But as he tried to become a professional, not once but twice, he went bust. He failed twice. Then eventually he broke into the professional circuit and started to do well. Then he was drafted to the Second World War. He came back from there and he struggled to get back to the fitness. Then he started to get success, and then he was involved in a car crash against a Greyhound bus that absolutely damaged his legs in very serious ways. He had to learn to walk again, and it's known as one of the great comebacks in sport. So I'm not sure what sport you're like, or if you like any sport, but read about Ben Hogan's comeback. He came back, he learnt to walk, and even though he had so much pain, he continued to do it, and he won the Open, and some of his records of what he won after that crash has never been broken. It still stands today. What is it about people like him? Roger Bannister, who broke the 4-minute mile, and they said your heart's going to burst, and yet he broke it, and then a dozen or more athletes did it the same year. What is it? It's mindset. Why is it that one person says, no, you can't do it, and another person says, well, I can, and even if they fail, that other person over here says, I told you so, I told you fail. But what is it that the person who fails, they dust themselves off, they get up, they say, hey, I'm going to go again, I'm going to try again. It is something in our minds. Let me recommend a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If you've never read it, read it. It says, do you want to work for money, or do you want money to work for you? Great book. I'm going to recommend a book at the end which is transforming people's lives. Look, I have 3 grown-up sons. I have my daughter, who's a teenage girl, and I couldn't be prouder of my children. All right, my 3rd son Clark works for a company he lives in Munich in Germany. He works for a global company. He's a salesman of software, and in this last quarter he has achieved his target for sales within 3 weeks in a quarter of 3 months. So it looks like he's probably going to go to try and do 200% sales in this time of COVID, when business is so hard that he's achieving. Why? Do you know, I can tell you why. When he left school, he went to work in Morrison's, and he started going, and he was turning up late, and I took him aside. Hey, come here, you. All right, and this comes back to my chefing days when I worked very, very hard. And this was the difference. I said, son, what time do you start? And he said, at 8. I said, so what time do you get there? He said, sometimes I get 5, 10 past, quarter past. I said, right, forget that. Whatever you're going to do, you arrive half an hour or 20 minutes before you start every single day. See, when you finish 20 minutes, half an hour after the finish. Never look at your time for finish, because I'm convinced if you give, you receive. And do you know what? From that date, he never arrived late. He has a work ethic to do over and above. Why? Because he wants to achieve, because he knows the power of sowing, and so he reaps a great harvest. That's an action that you get in your mind, and do you know what? That action is so powerful, it changes your mind. Look, I'm going to do a little bit more of this about mindset. I wanted to just give you a couple of things. there are so many great people out there, and some of them have some not great personal lives. That doesn't need to take place. The key of that is clear communication. So when you and I are working on things, and I've had it today, my wife said, Trevor, you know, I said to our daughter, and she's not doing it, and she said, can you please sort this out? Because otherwise I know this is all going to blow up. So although I was doing something, I stopped, came out, went, and I sorted it immediately. I could have said, look, I'm busy, leave me alone, I'll sort it out later. No, you must communicate clearly. You must be ready to put things down, deal with situations, because that's life, and then go forward. Look, please, I hope you enjoy this. I am going to do a little bit more mindset, because it is singly the most important thing, especially during this time, especially with property investment. What should we be doing? Well, we need to be really positive. We need to be on it. And I will do more through my videos on mindset and how to go forward with property in this time. Listen, I hope you enjoy this video. Please subscribe, share it to other groups if you think they're going to benefit. If you've got a friend who's really struggling and it's being held back, send them this video, ask them to subscribe, and put messages down, put the comments down. I love your comments, and I'll answer them. And if you got a topic or even a situation, send it to me. All right, listen, I wish you all the best. Stay safe, and God bless you. Bye bye.